comics are for sure. I think comics are definitely better, especially at the seller. I'll have people like Andrew Schulz is like has pretty right wing followers. He has pretty.
He had,
He has very broy followers, but he was at the table once, and I was terrified to even, like he's had a few jokes that were pretty pretty offensive, and I was like thinking I'm host at the time, and I had to bring him up, and I'm not going to be disrespectful to the seller. I brought him up, and then he was sitting at the table, so I sat down, and we actually spoke and had a great conversation. We were talking about trans issues. He was talking about like Leah Thomas, the swimmer.
yeah.
And I was saying like, yeah, no, I don't think Leah Thomas should be able to compete, and I don't think anyone who's gone through male puberty should be able to compete as a woman. That was basically my stance, and he was like, yeah, exactly. And then I said, but I also don't think it's not a big problem when you consider there's only one athlete in the entire country doing this. I wouldn't call it a huge problem. Like there are more school shootings than trans athletes, but I also.
Yeah, that's a much bigger problem.
Right. I mean, like if Leah Thomas brought a machine gun to the swimming pool, or an assault weapon to the swimming pool, excuse me, that'd be a bigger problem. And he was saying like, I'm worried about kids. What if kids transition and then change their minds? And if you're a parent, I guess that's a valid concern. But I pointed out that let's say. There are people who probably do start to transition and then detransition. They go back. I'm sure that happens. Not a lot, but it happens. But there are also people who are misdiagnosed as having cancer. That doesn't mean we stop treating cancer.
Yeah.
We just get better at diagnosing it. And that's where I put it. And he was really, really understanding about it. He was really like, we had a great talk. He was really friendly and funny. And it was like, he even asked me onto his podcast, and which I'm still thinking about because I just can't stand the comment sections. Oh, it's the worst.
Oh my
and
God!
I still read him every
imagine.
time, and I just know some of his fans might be a little, might jump down my throat. But
well, I mean, I feel like
but here's a guy whose fan base is pretty right wing, but he's willing to talk and learn and have a discussion about it. So
yeah, and that's I guess that's more what I meant about people who aren't like. Who are, I feel like a lot of the time it's not even people who are against it. It's just like, again, it's like they've got their own slice of the conversation that's been given to them, and I feel like they don't know where to enter. Because it's like I have my own opinions about it, but they all come from like a place of love and like acceptance, and it's just like, when's the right time to ask these questions? Because it's like I have like non-binary friends where it like never was a conversation. Like I've like felt like I like never had the question, like the time to ask them like all the questions I might have had, or and the onus is on me to make that time. But it's interesting to hear someone like that. It's great to hear that they make the time. But I imagine once your podcast gets so big, any comment section is going to be like full of. Okay, your podcast gets that big, and you've had Alex Jones on that podcast.
Exactly.
So I don't believe
Right. Who, by the way, is a fan of people like me. Let's just get it out there.
Yeah.
Saw that he apparently showed his phone once, and one of the windows open was to trans porn. So,
I had no idea. Good for Alex Jones.
So I think if he did come on my podcast, it would be very awkward, and he wouldn't be able to stand for a while. So that would be kind of weird.
Yeah.